What is shame? In this video, I'm going to speak about shame from spiritual aspect and from psychological aspect, and how to handle shame easily. Why I'm not pretty enough, why I'm not smart enough, why am I still alive, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. So much of shame within us. And in this video also, I'm going to help you to solve your shame right now on the spot. So if you can, try to have a pen and a paper. Otherwise, you can just do it in your mind. All right. So if you're interested with this video, stay tuned till the end of this video. Now, what is shame? From psychological aspect, shame is when you feel something is wrong with you intrinsically and you can't mend it. You feel that you can't mend it. It's not about what you do, but it's about who you are. Guilt is about what you do, but shame is about who you are. So we feel shame, okay, when we feel ashamed of ourselves related to certain aspect that we think is part of ourself, intrinsically part of ourself, and we feel that we can never fix it, that we can never mend it. That's what shame is. Okay, and shame usually arises when we feel that we are not up to the par or standards either set by us or by our parents, by our spouse, or the society or the media. Okay, so when we don't heal or acknowledge our shame, we will project our shame onto others. When others do not meet our standards, we immediately shame them, humiliate them, degrade them. Okay, so this is what shame is psychologically. I mean, the definition, we'll get into it deeper, all right? But before that, let's look at shame, spiritual aspect. All right, so if you look at this I, when we are born, all right, when we are born and our soul gets into our body, all right, there's an identity which is formed, which is called as the false identity. This I am Radhika, I am John, I am Mary, yada yada yada. I am fair, I am dark, I am a doctor, I'm an architect, whatever, all right? So there's an I here, which creates a false sense of separation from the divine intelligence, from the source, from the universe. As we all know, we are the spark of the divine. We are not separated from the divine. However, when we are born, there will be a separation, okay, because the ego will be formed. What is ego? Ego means false identification, this false self, okay, identification, false identification with our body, mind and thoughts. We think that we are only the body, mind and thoughts. We are not our thoughts. We are the awareness and the witness behind of our thoughts. All right, so when we get so identified, we think we are this small human mind separated from the divine intelligence. All right, there's a personality, limited personality, which we call as ego forms. This ego will create thoughts. Okay, this ego will create thoughts, and these thoughts will create fear. Fear will arise from these thoughts, this emotion, fear. All right, and it will create scarcity mindset, with lack mindset, that I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough. I have to compete in order to survive, because there's no enough material, there's no enough money, there's no enough job opportunities, yada 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 yada. All right, okay, so it creates this false sense that I am not enough. All right, so from here, when you have this strong core belief system that I'm not enough, that I'm separated from the divine, I'm this small mind, and then additionally we have to meet the standards set by the society, parents, by us, or the media. And when we are not able to meet these standards, together with this ego, these thoughts, this fear and the scarcity mindset, it creates shame. it creates shame. So do you see the mechanism behind shame? Spiritually. Alright? It's because of the ego. Alright? Many things the ego tells us is not even true. Alright? So that's how shame arises spiritually. Okay, from spiritual aspect. Now, how to heal shame? Number one, in order to heal shame, you have to recognize shame within your body. You have to recognize shame within your body, because most of us, we don't like to feel the shame. Let's say somebody is humiliating us, degrading us, being condescending towards us. And when we feel the shame, we can't take it because it's unbearable. It's so difficult for us to cope up with the shame. So we try to avoid it. We try to resist it. The number one rule is you have to acknowledge, recognize shame within your body, and then do not resist it. Do not deny it. Do not suppress it. Because the more you try to resist shame, the more it will persist. So when you are dealing with shame, you have to observe it without judgment. That's number one rule. Number two, you have to recognize the language of shame. Language of shame, which means what are the words are you using to yourself? Alright, okay? What are the words you are using to shame yourself, to degrade yourself? What are the words are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself, oh, I'm stupid? When you make a mistake, when you're ashamed of yourself, oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I look so ugly. What are the words you tell yourself? You have to recognize that. Alright, so that you'll be able to catch yourself whenever you're shaming yourself. Because when you stop shaming yourself, you'll immediately stop shaming others too. You won't project your shame onto others. The next important thing is you have to feel the sensation. What are the sensations that you feel when it comes to shame? You have to recognize the shame sensation, how shame feels like within your body. So right now, get ready with paper or pen. Otherwise, just do it in your mind. All right, I'm going to coach you right now. Okay, now make sure you have a pen and paper. If you don't have it, it's still fine. You can just do it in your mind. All right, just answer this question in your mind. All right, verbally. So number one question, what is your biggest shame? Is it related to your career, your money, your relationship status, or something to do with your aesthetics, your physical appearance? What is it? Just pick one. You might have 1,000, okay? Just pick one, the main one. What is your biggest shame? Okay? Now I want you to ask yourself, why is it so unpleasant? Why is it so unpleasant to the extent you feel so much of shame about it? Why? Come up with a fast answer. Okay? Now, if you're not able to keep up with me, you can come back to this video. Alright? Now, next, what are the standards you set for yourself? For example, let's say a student is feeling ashamed of herself, of her marks that she got for the subject science. Okay? So, the standard that she set for herself is to achieve at least 95% of marks for the science subject, but she received 80%. So she feels ashamed about it. So what are the standards that you've set? Whatever is your biggest shame, what is the main standard that you would like to achieve in order for you not to feel ashamed of yourself, ashamed of that particular aspect of yourself? What is it? Okay, so if it's a career, if it's a money, maybe you want to achieve certain amount of money. Think about it, come up with it. Okay, now the next question is, I would like to ask you, are those standards set by you? Are those standards truly belong to you? Are they truly your values and standards? Or do they belong to your parents or the society? Okay? Are they truly your standards, your values, Or were they imposed upon you by your parents, your friends, family, society? Because you think everybody else do it, so you want to do it too. Alright? The next thing is, how does shame feels physically for you? Is it increased heart rate? Do you feel anger? Do you get nervous? How does it feel within yourself? I want you to think about your shame right now and how does it make you feel right now? Just imagine someone is confronting you related to the shame that you have right now. If it's related to career or relationship status, let's say somebody is shaming you using that aspect, related to that aspect of yourself. How usually you feel it within your body? Do you get angry? Do you get nervous? Do you get increased heart rate? What is it? For me, usually I feel this heat sensation in my chest or pit in my stomach. So I want you to recognize it. Okay? It might be one symptom or two symptoms more than that. Now next, how do you protect yourself when you feel shame? If somebody is shaming you or you feel ashamed of yourself when you are in certain when you're in the company of certain people, how do you protect yourself? Okay, or if someone is shaming you, you feel humiliated, how do you protect yourself? Do you become defensive? Do you use harsh words? Do you attack them using harsh words? Or do you become nervous? Or do you give silent treatment? Or do you immediately walk away from that place? For me, I usually immediately walk away from that place. Or I might become defensive. Usually I wanted to hide myself. How do you protect yourself when you feel shame? Write it down. Usually what will you do? If you're so embarrassed, you cannot face it, what do you do immediately? Do you attack the other person? Do you use harsh words? Alright? Now, the next one. The next one is, what is your biggest fear when you feel shame? What is the biggest fear? Is it about, that the reputation, are you afraid that the reputation that you have in the society will be damaged? Are you afraid that people are going to look down upon you? Are you afraid that people are not going to respect you anymore? Are you afraid that you will not get the love, praise, validation from others anymore? Are you afraid that you will not be accepted as a friend by certain group of people? What is it? What is it? What is your biggest fear when you feel the shame? What is it? Now, next, what thoughts arise? What thoughts fuel you, okay, during this shame, okay? What thoughts arise when you feel that shame? What are the thoughts? What are the thoughts you have? Now you let's say you have so much of shame about your career. What are the thoughts going on with your mind related to that career or the relationship or your physical aspect? How do you speak to yourself? What are the thoughts are going on? Oh, I'm so ugly. Oh, I'm so dark. Oh, I'm too fair. Oh, I'm too big size. I'm too small size. I'm too thin. Oh, I'm so stupid. Alright? I'm not competent. I'm useless. I'm unworthy. What are the thoughts going on? What are the thoughts? I want you to write it down or just come up in your mind. Now I want you to question your thoughts. Are those thoughts 100% true? Are you sure those thoughts are 100% true? If it's yes, yes. If it's no, no. Now, how do you react when you believe those thoughts are 100% true? How do you react when you feel those thoughts are 100% true? How do you treat yourself or how do you treat others? Now I want you to ask the last question. How do you feel about that particular issue that you feel ashamed of yourself, that's bringing shame? How do you feel about that issue without those thoughts? Let's say it's related to your physical appearance. How do you feel about your physical appearance without those thoughts that bring so much of shame? How do you look at that issue without those thoughts? Do you feel better? Do you feel neutral? I want you to question thoughts, okay? Now, do you know that you've healed half of the problem that you have related to your shame right now, because you've already acknowledged it. You've become aware of it. You've brought it to the light. From the subconscious mind, you brought it to this conscious mind. You've become aware. You've raised your self-awareness related to your shame, related to your subconscious limited beliefs and fear. You've solved half of the problem. So how do you know that you've healed your shame? Or at least you're healing your shame. You will know that you healed your shame when you are able to recognize shame immediately. When it arises within your body, you'll be able to recognize it immediately. You'll catch yourself whenever you're trying to shame yourself, or whenever you feel shame when somebody else is humiliating you or degrading you. You'll immediately recognize the language of the shame, the words that you use to yourself. What are the words that you use when you're shaming yourself? I want you to write that down. Because whenever you're using the words, you will catch yourself. And you'll be like, I'm shaming myself. Remind yourself every time you feel shame that that's not the truth. That's the unhealed emotional pain which is coming to the surface. That is the unhealed emotional pain that is coming to the surface. Alright, so you'll be able to immediately recognize it. Next, you will not project your shame onto others. When you don't heal your shame, you'll project it onto others. For example, let's say you are very you set a very high standard for yourself related to English language. So whenever you make small mistake, you'll be very harsh to yourself. You'll talk harshly to yourself. Okay, you don't allow yourself to make any single mistake related to English language, because according to you, it's a parameter of intelligence. Okay, right? Okay, so even if you make small mistake, you call yourself stupid. Okay, now when you see someone else making the similar mistake, you will project that shame onto them. There's a higher possibility for you to shame them, calling them stupid. The similar way you scold yourself, you will project it onto them. Or let's say you don't like someone. Okay, they are teaching you about a subject and they are an expert in that subject, and that brings so much of insecurity and jealousy within you, and you want to pick a mistake. Okay, because you feel so inferior whenever you are beside them. So you are trying to bring them down unconsciously or subconsciously. All right. So what do? You try to look for mistake. Which are the mistakes that you're going to focus upon? English language. Since you feel superior about yourself related to English language, you're going to try to find mistake related to their English language. So they might make one silly mistake. You'll just pick on them. You'll say that, look at that error, you stupid idiot. You're not as smart as you think. You can't even pronounce this simple word. There's a grammatical error there. Alright. So you're going to project that upon them. So whenever you're healing from shame, whenever you're healed from shame, you'll catch yourself whenever you're trying to shame yourself or whenever you try to humiliate others. You won't project it onto others. Even if you've already projected the shame onto others, you'll immediately come to a realization that you've done a mistake and forgive yourself for the mistake. You are a human being, all right? So you cannot deal with shame by defending yourself, by protecting yourself forever. The defensive mechanism might only work temporarily. Okay, it might not work in the long run. You have to look at shame from a higher perspective. You have to recognize shame. You have to know how it feels in your body. You have to bring it to the light. You have to bring it from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind. This is what you call as deep inner work, spiritual work. Look at it from a higher perspective. So forgive yourself, all right, for shaming yourself or for projecting shame onto others. You will also, see, when you have healed shame, you will immediately catch yourself reacting to people when they're trying to humiliate you. And you will develop compassion, not only for yourself, but also for others. See, compassion cannot be forced. It's a byproduct of high self-awareness and inner work. So you automatically will develop compassion for yourself and for others. Alright, so if you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about this issue in the comment. Was it helpful? Please share it with others so that it can help them to heal their shame. Okay, so hi, I'm Radhika Lakshmanan. I'm a Karma Transformational Guide. If you need my help, do not hesitate to message me. Thank you.